Congressman, I know you were watching along with all of us as Governor Ducey decided to gut punch everyone once again and shut down major businesses and take a big slap at the economy. All of us, I would say, I think I'm speaking for the vast majority of Arizona when I ask, how can this all happen? What is with these emergency powers and where does it end?
Well, Mike, I really don't know where the governor gets all this power, and I call on the legislature to come in and rein this in, because this is really ridiculous. I mean, so here's a way to think of it. The attack is on bars, movie theaters, gyms, and then you move to schools, and you got water parks in there. Do you know who is the least likely, the two demographics least likely to have a serious reaction to the COVID virus? You got it. It is the people who frequent bars, movie theaters, gyms, water parks, and schools. I mean, it is that demographic from 0 to age 44. Those are the vast majority of people who do that, and so I'm stunned by that, because here's another way of thinking it. More than half the people who have had COVID in Arizona are between the age of 20 and 44, and well over half if you include those younger than age 20. But the fatality rate is extremely low. So that tells you that the seriousness for those people in that demographic is really, really low, and where we need to be. If you've got concerns, if you've got vulnerabilities, it's going to be in the people over age 65. And then you look at the two counties where most of this is happening. It's in Yuma and it's in Santa Cruz. And what do we have? CNN reported yesterday an increase in cross-border COVID-19 people coming across who have that. So that's where I would be looking if I were the king of the world down there.
Well, yes, this is the second time that he has just done a blanket order for the entire state, as everyone has to suffer together. I want you one of the biggest frustrating parts for us as Arizonans, and being led by a man who makes these kind of claims. I want you to hear Doug Ducey claiming that he knows that it's these people last weekend that are spreading the virus. Trying to get the audio. This right here.
I think we also saw the photos and videos of some of the things that were happening around our state this weekend. And the result of that has been an increase in the spread.
How in the world can a man claim that, or claim to know that, when we struggle for answers and try to find where a virus is coming from, to claim that people that went to bars this weekend were actually the spreaders of the virus and are leading to an uptick?
Well, that doesn't really make any sense, does it? Because there's an incubation period that we know about, right? So what happened is these people miraculously spread the virus, and we had an uptick. The reality is, just go to the AZDHS.gov website, and you're not going to see the uptick that he's claiming that's there. You have a detection in cases, but you also had an increase over the last couple of weeks as you've gone through with the number of tests done. And so I would say this. The one thing that I would give him, over the last couple of weeks, we have fluctuated between 7 and roughly 10% of cases tested that have a positive result. But there's some other important data that he has to answer for too, and that is the mortality rate since June 1st has fallen more than 2%. The total point of COVID-19 cases hospitalized in the last 2 to 3 weeks has fallen by almost half. And so when you bring in the highest number I think we've ever brought in hospitalizations in a day in Arizona has been around 85 to 90. But over the last 30 days, we've discharged over 4,300 people from hospitals. I mean, so you're looking at this, and you can take any number out of context that you want, but when you put it in context with all the data that's available just on their data dashboard, you got to say, what is going on?
Right.
I mean, I'm just outraged by it. Obviously, you can tell, Mike.
I know, Congressman Biggs. We love to hear that kind of passion from our elected officials. Now, I want to talk about politics for a moment here because Doug Ducey forgot to look at the calendar. Apparently, he did not realize or just didn't care that he was shutting down segments of our economy and small businesses in our economy the day before the payroll protection program ended. Are we going to see that extended? Is there a push to extend that, or is the HEROES Act going to come save us all?
Well, the HEROES Act is not a hero for the country, I can tell you that. So the HEROES Act is DOA, so that's not going to happen. Discussion with regard to Phase 4 type of relief package, that's ongoing but slow moving because Nancy Pelosi, what she did with the HEROES Act, she took every left-wing idea she could put in, she shoved it in there, and that's what she wants. She doesn't want anything other than that. And looking by some of the primaries around the country for Democrats, the AOC wing of that party has really taken hold, and so they want some of the most radical stuff you can imagine, and it has nothing to do with helping small businesses. It has nothing to do with helping people get through this. It's an attempt to hijack this crisis and turn it into a kind of a Marxian utopia.
Is there anything we can do as a citizenry to just I don't know, we feel helpless, I would say. Like I was mentioning that I was holding my daughter as she was just absolutely distraught yesterday, learning that school was going to be pushed back just another 2 weeks, thanks to Doug Ducey's crystal ball. And is there what can we do? We feel helpless. What can we do?
Well, so what I tell people they can do is you have to make your voice heard. You have got to let so education is largely a local issue. That's where it should be anyway. But you have to let the state know. You have to let your local school districts know. It would be helpful if school boards were saying to the governor and the State Department of Education, hey, we want to open up. Look, the American Academy of Pediatricians put something out yesterday saying that children really need to be in school. They want it to be a local decision. I want it to be a local decision. But it is so traumatic and is going to put children so far behind to not let them go to school. And you're seeing around the world, even places that remain in lockdown for other areas are reopening school because it's so vital for children. And the children, for whatever reason, do very, very well versus their immune system does very, very well against the COVID. So the rationality of it has just not been made clear to me. And so just so you know, the House Freedom Caucus, we've introduced legislation saying open it up. We have no authority. We realize that it's a state and local issue, but doggone it, you have to. It's a sense of Congress that children need to be in school. Parents want their children educated. We don't want them indoctrinated. We want them educated, and you got to get schools open.
Well said, Congressman Biggs. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for what you do.